Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into something a little darker this time?
Always Liddy.
Good. Let's talk holiday slashers. You know those movies where a psycho killer crashes the party?
Yeah, adds a little spice to the eggnog, right?
Well, we're going to find out. We've got tons of iconic holiday horror movies to unpack. So, what makes a slasher flick tick anyway?
Well, you've got your mysterious killer, stalking and murdering people, usually in creatively gruesome ways.
The gorier, the better. Am I right?
For some fans,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay, but add some tinsel and mistletoe to that,
Yeah.
and you've got yourself a holiday slasher.
The contrast is what makes it so unsettling. And you take the joy and celebration of a holiday, and then you juxtapose that with this primal fear of violence. It makes for a really interesting viewing experience.
Right. Let's start with a franchise that really messed with people's holiday cheer. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh yeah, talk about controversy.
Mm-hmm.
That original film from 1984 caused a huge uproar with its killer Santa Claus, the graphic violence, the whole concept. Parents were outraged, saw it as an attack on Christmas itself.
Yeah, I can see why that one stirred the pot. So did that backlash just make it more popular?
Absolutely, it became this forbidden fruit, pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable in horror, and that just cemented its cult status. Became a landmark case in film history, really. Brought all these questions about censorship and, how horror reflects what scares us as a society.
And what about the sequel? Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Oh, part two. Now that one goes full on. So bad it's good.
Oh yeah, gotta love that garbage day scene. Pure slasher gold.
It's amazing how a sequel can become a phenomenon in its own right. Just by being so over-the-top ridiculous, camp and humor can even creep into the goriest horror.
Okay, so the Silent Night, Deadly Night series just kept going. We got psychic connections in part 3, occult stuff in part 4, and a creepy toy maker in part 5.
It seems like after that first controversy, the filmmakers had free rein to experiment.
Yeah.
They just went for it and took the franchise in all sorts of wild directions.
I love that. Okay, let's move from Killer Santa to a killer countdown. How about New Year's Evil? It's all about that suspense, right?
Definitely. The killer, who calls himself evil, calls up a TV host and promises a murder in each time zone as the clock strikes midnight. It's that ticking clock that makes it so intense, constant dread.
And you can't forget that mask. So creepy. And his voice, all distorted and scary. Pure 80s slasher goodness. Okay, but let's switch gears now and talk about a holiday slasher that plays with your expectations. April Fool's Day.
Ah, April Fool's Day. Such a clever concept. It uses the whole holiday theme of pranks and trickery to create this kind of meta-narrative about slasher tropes themselves. You think you're getting the classic slasher formula, but then the ending throws you a curveball.
Yeah, the big reveal that the murders were all a prank, that divided audiences big time. Some loved the twist, others felt cheated out of the usual bloodbath.
Exactly. It started a debate about what we really want from a slasher film. Is it the graphic kills, the punishment of bad behavior, or something more self-aware and unexpected? April Fool's Day makes you think about all that.
Good point. Now, how about Valentine? Stylish and visually striking, right? Uses the Valentine's Day theme to explore some dark stuff like love, rejection, and revenge.
It's all about the aesthetics, the iconography of Valentine's Day, hearts, flowers, cupids, twisted into instruments of fear.
Okay, ready for something totally off the wall?
Bring it on.
Jack Frost, the killer snowman. How crazy is that?
Oh man, Jack Frost. Now that's a chilling concept, literally.
This movie takes the idea of a killer snowman and just goes for it. The kills are ridiculously inventive, like he melts under doors to get his victims or freezes them solid. Icicles as weapons, come on. Scary and hilarious all at the same time.
And the special effects, even though they're cheesy, just add to the fun. Jack Frost proves a holiday slasher can be campy and still deliver a great time.
It even spawned a sequel, Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. Even crazier.
Oh yeah, that one takes it to a whole other level of absurdity. Killer snowballs, a tropical island setting, you name it.
So we've gone from the controversial Silent Night, Deadly Night to the pure fun of Jack Frost. Holiday slashers take everything we know about those warm, fuzzy holidays and twist them into something really unsettling.
Right. And we've only just scratched the surface of this bloody snow globe. There's so much more to explore, the psychology behind it all, the cultural impact, the themes that run through these movies.
Definitely. Stay with us as we dig deeper into the dark side of holiday cheer.
Back for more blood and tinsel.
Always. We've covered some iconic holiday slashers, but why are they so gripping? It can't just be Santa with a chainsaw.
Right, there's got to be something deeper,
Yeah.
right? Something psychological going on. You see, holidays, they're all about tradition and ritual, We let our guard down. We're focused on celebrating, and that's when these films strike. That vulnerability is key.
It's like a home invasion film, but with decorations and candy canes.
Exactly. A violation of what's supposed to be a safe, happy time. Think about Black Christmas, that killer hiding in the attic of a sorority house during the holidays. It preys on that fear of being alone, vulnerable, in a strange place, when you should be safe.
And the house all decked out for Christmas just makes it creepier. The holiday becomes a mask for something evil lurking beneath.
Right. And then you've got Krampus, a different kind of holiday horror. Instead of a jolly Santa, it's a demonic creature who punishes the naughty.
It's like a reminder that holidays aren't always sunshine and rainbows. There's a dark side, a history of pagan rituals and ancient beliefs.
Yeah, Krampus taps into that primal fear of the unknown, the things that go bump in the night, especially when we're supposed to be celebrating. A total subversion of those warm and fuzzy holiday vibes.
So these films force us to confront those dark thoughts we try to ignore during the holidays. The fear, the isolation, the potential for violence, even when we least expect it.
Speaking of anxieties, let's talk about a film that takes a more psychological approach. John Carpenter's Halloween. Not strictly a Christmas movie, but it takes place on Halloween night, a holiday all about death and the supernatural.
Ah, Halloween, the OG slasher. It doesn't have the tinsel and carols, but it lays the groundwork for so many slasher tropes we see in holiday horror.
Absolutely. The isolated setting, the stalker, the rising tension, all those elements became staples of the genre, influencing countless films, including the ones set during holidays. And Halloween taps into those childhood fears. The boogeyman in the closet, the masked stranger in the dark. Those primal fears stick with us even during celebrations.
And that's what makes Halloween so effective, that feeling of unease, of not knowing who to trust,
Yeah.
especially creepy during a holiday when you're supposed to be surrounded by loved ones.
Yeah.
Plus, Michael Myers' mask. So blank, so emotionless, pure evil.
Halloween spawned a whole franchise too, exploring different aspects of the genre and even digging deeper into Michael Myers' backstory.
Okay, but let's step back from specific films for a second and talk about some broader themes we see in holiday slashers. Loss of innocence, for example. What do you think?
Totally. A lot of these films focus on young people, often teenagers, who are suddenly confronted with violence and death during a time meant for fun and celebration. It really highlights how fragile innocence is, how easily it can be shattered.
A twisted coming-of-age story where the holiday becomes a harsh wake-up call to the real world.
Right. And you often see this breakdown of family and community. Holidays are about togetherness, unity. But in these slashers, families are torn apart by secrets, lies, violence.
And the holiday setting just makes that betrayal more intense. You're supposed to be safe with your loved ones, but instead, those bonds are broken, sometimes brutally.
Yeah, and the holiday itself often exposes the cracks in those relationships, the hidden tensions that were already there, like a pressure cooker waiting to explode.
Speaking of explosions, revenge is a huge theme in holiday slashers, right? Killers are often motivated by past trauma, seeking to punish those they feel wronged them.
Yeah, the holiday becomes an opportunity for revenge, to deliver their own twisted sense of justice. It's a perversion of all that goodwill and forgiveness we associate with the season.
Some holiday slashers even critique the excesses of the holidays, like all the spending and materialism.
It's like a morality play, warning us about the dangers of consumerism. While everyone's focused on shopping and decorations, the killer's lurking in the shadows, picking off those who've lost sight of what really matters.
They remind us there's a dark side to all that holiday cheer, that our obsession with stuff can blind us to real dangers.
Right. So as you can see, holiday slashers are more than just gore and jump scares. They explore the dark side of human nature, the anxieties we bury during celebrations. They force us to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world. They do it within a familiar context, which makes the horror that much more effective.
They remind us that even amidst the joy and festivities, darkness can be lurking, waiting to shatter our sense of security and happiness. All right, final act of our holiday horror marathon. We've dissected the psychology, the cultural impact, the themes. But let's get specific. How do these films use those classic holiday traditions and symbols to make things extra creepy?
Well, it's all about taking what we know and love about the holidays, the warmth, the joy, and twisting it into something sinister.
Like turning the comfort of the holidays into a weapon against the audience.
Exactly. Think about Santa Claus. He's supposed to be all about gifts and good cheer. But in Silent Night, Deadly Night, he's a straight-up instrument of terror. That subversion of such a beloved icon, it really gets under your skin, especially if you grew up with that image of Santa as a purely good figure.
Right. It plays with our expectations. We're so used to seeing Santa as safe and friendly, so when that's shattered, it's extra shocking.
And it's not just Santa. Other holiday icons get the horror treatment too. Like in My Bloody Valentine, the killer wears a miner's mask, carries a pickaxe. It twists those feelings of love and affection we associate with Valentine's Day into something dark and menacing.
And they even use those heart-shaped boxes of chocolates, but instead of candy, something way more gruesome. Not the Valentine's Day surprise you want.
Then there's Trick or Treat. It's brilliant how it weaves together all those different Halloween traditions into a terrifying anthology. Jack-o'-lanterns, costumes, trick-or-treating, they all become elements of horror, reminding us that even the most innocent customs have a dark side.
It's like a love letter to Halloween, but with a bloody twist. It shows that every holiday has its shadows, its potential for things to go bump in the night.
Yeah, Trick or Treat really captures that duality of Halloween. The fun and games mixed with the awareness of death, the supernatural, the macabre. It's all there.
Okay, gotta ask, do you have a favorite holiday slasher?
Ooh, that's tough. There are so many good ones. But I think I'd have to go with the original Black Christmas. It's a classic for a reason. That suspenseful atmosphere, the unseen killer lurking in the attic, and the ending. So chilling. It stays with you long after the movie's over.
Black Christmas set the bar high for holiday slashers. It's influenced so many films that came after. I think I'd pick Krampus. I love how it blends folklore, horror, and dark humor. And that creature design. Pure nightmare fuel.
Krampus is definitely unique. It reminds us that holidays can be scary as well as joyful. And sometimes the things we fear the most are rooted in our oldest traditions.
Well, folks, we've reached the end of our deep dive into holiday slashers. We've looked at some iconic movies, analyzed the recurring themes, and uncovered the psychological and cultural elements that make this subgenre so fascinating.
We've seen how filmmakers take those familiar parts of our holidays, the decorations, the rituals, even our favorite icons, and turn them into something terrifying. They make us face the dark side of celebration.
So the next time you're decorating your tree, singing carols, or opening presents, just remember there might be a killer snowman lurking outside, a psycho Santa ready to pounce, or a demonic creature waiting to punish anyone who's been naughty.
But all jokes aside, we hope you enjoyed this exploration of holiday horror. It's a subgenre that continues to captivate and frighten audiences, reminding us that even during the happiest times of year, there's always a possibility of darkness lurking just around the corner.
And as we head into the holiday season, we'll leave you with this thought. What other holiday traditions could be used to make a truly chilling horror film? Happy holidays, everyone, and sweet dreams.